Hi and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be dealing with our windows. This is something that is usually pretty gross. People don't like doing it, but it makes such a huge difference once this is done. We moved into our house last October and I was pregnant with our fourth child, so I didn't get a chance to do all of the windows. There was maybe one or two that I did and then I called it quits because it was too cold to do them. So some of these were disgusting. I'm going to share with you some of the tips that I've learned throughout the years. My mom was a cleaning lady for many, many years, so a lot of these are her tips, some of these are mine, but yeah, let's get started. First up, let's talk supplies. You're gonna need a bucket, a squeegee. You can get some of these from the dollar store, it's not a big deal. This one here is going to be your rag that you're drying the window part with, a rag to buff with, and a rag to wash with. And then you're gonna take your bucket, you're gonna fill it up with some hot water, and the best ones that I've found so far have been either Sunlight dish detergent or Dawn. If the windows are super gross, I will add vinegar to it. Like the ones that I'm doing here have been clean in many years, so I added some vinegar to it as well, just to help break down everything that's on the windows. As you can see here, you don't need a lot because you're gonna be changing this water after every single window that you do. It will get gross very quickly, so don't do too much because you're just gonna end up wasting it. So a lot of these ones I'll do a speed clean, but the first one I'm going to show you how I clean windows, and this one here we did actually clean when we moved in, so this was one of the cleaner ones. It's a nice one to start with and show you how we do it. So you can still see after a year there's been a lot of the water buildup on the outside there. It's kind of hard to see and focus with the camera, but there's a lot of water buildup on the outside part. But the window trim area is not super bad. Our next step is to soak the cloth in the soapy water, make sure it's nice and soapy, and then you're just going to wash the windows, and I always start on the inside because they're the cleanest ones. So start with the cleanest, work to the dirtiest. So you're just gonna rub your cloth back and forth. The nice thing about doing this with your hands is you can kind of feel through the cloth if there's any gungy stuff there, and then you can kind of focus on that area. So just make sure that you get them all nice and soapy, and you can either wring your cloth out again and get it so that there's a little bit less water and soap on there, or you can do the squeegee right after. However, since there's carpet in this room, I'm going to wring up my rag one more time and then wipe it all down again just to kind of soak up that extra water that's in there before I use the squeegee. And I'm going to use the squeegee top to bottom. This really depends on the squeegee, the size of the squeegee, the size of the window. Sometimes you get it where you can't, the squeegee is too big for the window, so you have to do it from side to side. This one here works nicely that I can do it top to bottom because it's going to get the most water off right away. So what your goal is here is to just sweep the water to the side and get a nice clean window there. Then I'm going to move over to the second window, and with a rag again, I'm going to wipe it down just to kind of soak up some of the extra moisture there, and then use the squeegee from top to bottom. Once you're done with the squeegee, you're going to take your rags to wipe down the extra water that's accumulated on the edges there. So make sure that you take one rag to soak up the extra ones. This rag is really nice. I think I got it from the dollar store and I used it throughout the entire house. So it's just soaking up the extra water that you push to the side with the squeegee. And the reason I don't want to use the buffing cloth for that one is because it's just going to get water and it's going to keep smudging it. Now we're going to use, this is a microfiber cloth, again from the dollar store, and we're going to use this one to just buff out all of the streaks that are on there. And you want to make sure that you're checking from all angles of the window to make sure that there's no more smudges, because you do not want to have to go back and do this again afterwards. Once a year is more than enough for me, so make sure that you're getting everything buffed out. Now that we're done the inside, we're gonna move to the outside. This is a second story, so what I'm gonna do is, sometimes they have clips at the top there, this one doesn't. You're gonna lift it up and out. These are really heavy, so just be careful when you're doing this. So now we're gonna work on the outside windows, and because I don't wanna go and get a 2-story ladder, we're just gonna make do this way. So I've got my one window out here, and I'm going to wash, because we've already cleaned the one side, we are just working on the opposite side there. And I put a little bit of vinegar in this one because I had some water stains on the outside. So same process, we're just going to soap it down, squeegee, use the rag to soak up the extra water, and then buff it until there's no more streaks. Since we have the window out of the frame, it's a great opportunity to make sure that you're wiping down all the way around the outside edges to make sure that you're getting all the dust and junk off of there before you put it back into the frame. Next, we're going to take the screen out. So lots of them have different types of openings. This one just had a simple little lever that you pull to the side and the whole thing pops out. Some of them have little taps at the bottom and the top that you need to work with beforehand. And now getting them back into the house is a challenge because some of these have spider webs all over them. So I didn't want to bring the dirt back into the house. So I'm just quickly wiping it down beforehand because I don't want that touching my carpet. So you see me here just wiping it down, and then you just want to take your cloth and wipe it all over. I've seen lots of different hacks where you can use a lint roller for it, which is fine for the time being, but those do get really dusty, so you want to make sure that you're wiping them down every so often as well. Now this one's a tricky one because I cannot reach to the other side. I could go and get a ladder if I really wanted to, but I don't want to. I could also get a chair if I wanted to, but I also don't really want to do that. So what I'm going to do is use my squeegee. I put my cloth over top, and then that gives me a little bit of an extension to get all the way to the sides. It's not as effective as using your hands because, like I said before, if you're using your hands, you can kind of feel if there's any buildup anywhere or if anything's gross. This way I can't actually feel this, but it is getting the window clean. Then take your cloth off and use a squeegee just like you did before. Then we're going to take our rag to absorb the extra water and put it over top of the squeegee, and then again go right across and all the way down to get all of the extra water off before we use our buffing cloth. Then it's time to buff out all of the streaks again, and for the very top parts there, I go ahead and use my squeegee. So I put the buffing cloth on top of the squeegee and reach those extra spots that I just can't get to. Once all of the windows are clean, you're gonna move on to the frame because there's a lot of different things that build up there. In my case here, there was spider nests everywhere and they're so disgusting. So I tried to clean as much as I could off of there and all of the frame and the sill that builds up dirt. So just make sure that you get that. And I save that for last because, like I said before, you're gonna be changing your water after every window. So don't start with that because it's just gonna get your water gross. So make sure all of the frame is cleaned. And then we're gonna put back in the screen first. The screens are often tricky to get back in with those blinds there because you can't get them in the right spot, but I'm not gonna take my blinds off. So we'll just finagle here a little bit until it gets in there. Pop it back in, and then once that's done, we're gonna grab our window again. And like I said before, this one's kind of heavy, so you wanna make sure that you get it in the right spot. And then you're going to put it at the top first in, and then push the bottom part towards it. Then slide it shut and lock it. And then you're gonna take a bow for yourself because it's important to celebrate the little things in life. And here are two windows downstairs that have not been done since we moved in, and they are super gross. It's so hard to get you to see how much buildup is on the outside of them because it wants to focus on the trees. But there's a lot of buildup. There's so much. This is on the inside of the window. There's some, looks like mildew and so much dirt on the inside of the house. So these two here, I'm going to clear everything off of the desk there. Try not to focus on the mess, focus on the windows. I'm going to clear everything off, and my cat is super interested in what I'm doing there. She wants to help, but really she's just getting hair everywhere. This is what the inside track looks like after it's done. Isn't it beautiful? This is the same window outside, but I just took the screen off and I realized how many spider nests are in there. So I went and got a broom because there's no way that I'm touching all of those spider nests. They're so gross. So I got a broom out and I swept them all down, and then I used like a scraper and I got all of the rest of the nests out and used a cloth to finish it off. But there were so many spider nests in there. So I got rid of all of that stuff first and then did the windows. This was the perfect day for windows, slightly overcast. You want to avoid doing windows on really sunny days because it's going to try and bake the soapy water onto the windows. You won't have enough time to even squeegee it off. It'll be stuck on the window, and it's really hard to clean all of that soapy water off. So if you pick an overcast day, it won't dry on, which is fantastic. This is the second outside window, and again, you can even see all of the dust on there, the disgusting windows. At the bottom here, there's so much of this green mildew, and then the hammer is there because I tried to get this screen out, which was already broken, and then I found that they nailed the screen into the window frame, so no wonder I couldn't get it out. I had tried getting it out from the inside first. So I went ahead, took the nails out, and this is what we had. Those are all spider eggs, like the nests. So many spider nests, so many. It was disgusting. Like, look at all of these in here. I don't know when the last time that they cleaned these windows were, but oh my goodness. I'm glad that I don't have an easy stomach. Okay, so this next part here is pretty disgusting. So if you don't like spiders, look away. Here at the bottom part here, and then look, there's a spider that comes out of there.
Ugh, so gross.
So I definitely went and got the broom to do most of the disgusting work for me. And you'll notice that my lips are closed in this one. I made sure that my mouth was shut because I did not want to be sweeping spider nests into my mouth by accident. So then I went ahead and cleaned them. They were pretty gross as well, but it was mostly the frame that was super disgusting, like that green buildup that was there. The combination of the soap and the vinegar got rid of that right away, wiped off like butter. My parents stopped by during this time, so if I'm looking back and forth, that's why I'm talking to my dad there. And then he put his hand in there so that he could be in the video. And then this is a trick that my mom taught me. So there's those little tiny crevices in there that build up so much dirt, and there's two ways that I like to get rid of this. So the first one is you get a screwdriver, a chopstick, whatever you have handy, and you put it around the cloth, and then you can just dig and get most of that gunk out. And it works really well with that. You could use a knife too, whatever you have on hand. The second method that I like to use is I get my cloth super wet and I just wring it out in there and flood that baby up, and then you see all the dirt pouring out there. So that's another super easy way. If maybe you don't have a screwdriver on hand or whatever, you just do that and then wipe it all off and then get your cloth clean and do it all over again until it's all gone. And that's the final product there. So you can see there's still some black stuff on there. That's actually just a stain, it's not dirt anymore. So those are two methods that I like to use, and they're not very muscle power heavy, so it's fairly easy to get most of the dirt out that way. Now these screens were super dirty, so instead of just wiping them down, I brought them over to where my hose attachment usually is, but I already put it away for winter. So I just got my bucket of water and I'm wiping them all down on either side and then all the way around. And then I'm going to get a bucket of water and dump it over top just to get kind of the soapy mixture off of it. I had wanted it to dry there so that it wasn't sitting on the ground, but it kept falling down. So I took it to another spot on the kids' trampoline actually and just laid it there to dry out for a little bit while I was doing some more of the windows. So the streaks that you're seeing there are just the water on the screen that haven't dried off yet, but this is the final product of that super disgusting window downstairs, the one that had all the mildew on it and all the spider webs and cobwebs. So this is how clean it looks. The inside I haven't done yet, so don't look at that part. But the outside part there, the caulking is stained with that green. I could probably get some bleach out and bleach that area there, but the bleach is really not great for the caulking either. So I'm just gonna leave it as is. The windows are nice and clean on the outside though. The screen door here had a lot of stickers for my kids on it. So the easiest way that I found to get the stickers off is to soak it really well, like you're gonna be wiping all over it anyways, but just get it really soapy. Wipe it all down and then get out a scraper and scrape them right off the glass there. Just be careful not to scratch the glass, but that's fairly hard to do if you're just scraping the stickers off. And because this one has a screen door that slides back and forth, I'm not gonna take it off. I'm just gonna move it to one side, wipe it down, move it to the other side and wipe it down again. And same thing for the doors. I'm not gonna take either of those out. It's just a lot easier that way. If I was being really intense, maybe we were selling the house or something, I would try to take them out, but for now, this is perfect. So these are our windows to the front of the house. We hadn't cleaned these ones yet either. They were pretty gross. I realized afterwards that the angle I set up was terrible. But you can see my helpers here. They were super helpful. And this is what they look like on the outside there. So it had the same thing where there was a lot of green mildew. I'll have to maybe wipe down the area with bleach afterwards, but they look pretty clean for the window part. This one is in the same bedroom there, and you can see the inside part there. Just so much dirt on the inside built up, and I'm not quite sure how there's so much dirt on the inside, but this one was pretty gross too. There was a ton of spider nests in this one as well. A lot of, just because it's closer to the ground, there's a lot of dirt that splashes up. So I started on this one here. Again, work from the inside out because it's just going to be easier then, and you're not wasting as much water. then we went back outside. So my husband had actually taken our kids to the park, and then when they came back, I wasn't done. Actually, I did this over 3 days, so you'll see my outfits change 3 times. I'm not fancy, it just took 3 days, so I was wearing 3 different outfits. This one they wanted to help with all of the spider webs, but then we're also scared of them at the same time, so it took a little bit longer to do this one. You can see them running back and forth there after they got bored. This was one of the kids' rooms, and you can see there's stickers built up there. This one had a lot of hard water stains on the outside too. Once the camera, yeah, there you can see all of them. Just makes it look really dingy in the room. Once these windows were all done, I kept walking through the house and being like, ooh, ah, because it makes such a difference. It's so much lighter and cleaner in the house once they're done. So yeah, a little bit of a hard work, but it's definitely worth it. So this is this one done. The whole track looks super clean. There's no more of that black buildup on the caulking around there. And then if you can see at the top there, remember how before it had that hard water stain on it? Completely gone, nice and clean, streak-free windows. The screen's all cleaned up. No more spider nests there to worry about. And they look fantastic. Such a difference. Oh, you can see out there, those are all the spider nests that had come out. This was yet another screen that was nailed in, and this is on a second floor, so I was not about to get out a hammer and try to either hang myself off of there or get out a huge ladder for it. So yeah, I bent it to the side and then I bent it back in because that's just the kind of day I was having, I guess. And then you can see there's vines that had grown up this house. Nobody took care of this house beforehand, but there's vines that are growing all the way up, and I had actually cut them from the bottom and they clung to the wall way more than I had expected. So you can see there that I'm trying to pull some of them off as I'm doing this. And this here is why we change our water every time. So this is a bucket of water from one of the windows that I had done last year. So it's just been 1 year, and look at how disgusting that is. And it's a second floor window, so it's not like dirt splashing up on there or anything. So super important to change that water after every single window. It'll just make it a lot easier for you. Those are all the windows that I filmed, and those are all my tips for now. Happy window cleaning. I hope this has motivated you to get out there and do your windows before it gets too cold to do them. If you've watched this far, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day and enjoy this picture of my cat just looking out the window like, you know, she's pondering life.